gentlewoman from Pennsylvania, Miss Madeleine Dean, is now recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chairman Cleaver, Congressman Torres, for holding this hearing and for allowing me to participate. I thank all of our witnesses also for testifying today. First, my deepest condolences to the extraordinary loss that your entire community suffered, and of course we all suffer after such a tragedy. The devastating fire that occurred at Twin Parks North is just unforgivable and preventable. So I'm appreciative of this hearing and the chance to listen and to learn from all of you. And while we're in the Bronx today, I wanted to shed light on want to shed light on what happened and what we can do differently in the future to avoid another Twin Parks Northwest. I wanted to take a moment to focus on a horrific blaze that occurred in our city, Representative Evans and mine, Philadelphia, just days before your tragic fire. In the early morning hours of January the 5th, a fire broke out in a Philadelphia row house owned by the Philadelphia Housing Authority, killing 3 sisters and 9 of their children. 3 sisters and 9 of their children. And in fact, Mr. Chairman, I have an article from the Philadelphia Inquirer entitled Remembering Those Lost in the Fairmount Fire that I will enter onto the record.
Without objection.
My heart breaks for these families. They were loving mothers, aspiring students. One was a 2-year-old baby. One of their children was a 2-year-old baby. Even more heartbreaking are some of the facts that have emerged around this fire. Not that I'm claiming to have expertise as to causes of fires, but it became clear through these tragic deaths in Philadelphia that they could have been prevented with greater safeguards, just like the things we're talking about today. In that property in Philadelphia, of the 7 smoke alarms in the house, all of which were the kind that require a frequent battery replacement, 4 were in drawers, 1 was on the floor without batteries, 1 was on the ceiling without batteries, and a final alarm was working but located in the basement. I've entered some legislation around smoke detectors in federally assisted housing to authorize $2 million for public awareness campaigns on health and safety. My first question really is for Ms. Clayton. I am so sorry for the loss and the trauma you have suffered. Can you talk about your experience as a resident in the tower in terms of the property maintenance, in terms of responsiveness to complaints by residents of health and safety problems?
Response to maintenance, I've been
I think your microphone is on.
In response to the maintenance, can you hear me?
I think you turned it off. Yeah.
It's on.
Congresswoman Dean, can you hear the response?
If she would begin again, I apologize. I did not hear her.
Thank you. In response of maintenance, I have put a amount of complaints about the heating. They'll come and they'll look, because we have baseboard heaters, and they call themselves blowing it out or whatever, because I don't know what they're doing. Okay, so it gets warm for maybe a day, and we're right back to my normal putting on my portable heaters.
And that was a common lot within your property, is that
Yes.
correct? And I've dealt with this at the local level here with private housing, not federally assisted housing, but the same kind of thing where the property owner responds, puts a temporary fix, and really never answers the questions around health and safety. Mr. Carrion and Ms. I apologize, Ms. Noskas, what are some of the barriers to ensuring that every affordable housing unit has fully functioning smoke detectors, for example?
would say, thank you for the question, that we are very vigilant in our inspections around smoke detectors, and even in places where they are not always required when we're doing work in buildings, making sure they are being installed in the case of preservation and rehabilitation work. I think in general there is New York State and perhaps similar in some parts of Pennsylvania as well, the housing stock is very old and it is very much in need of investment. And I think at the New York State and New York City level, we have made incredible investments in terms of capital into the housing stock, but we need more. And we have been fixed, certainly from the perspective of federal resources, whether it's Section 8 vouchers or low-income housing tax credits, tax-exempt volume cap. These resources are the backbone of the work that we do to invest in the existing housing stock in this state, and we need more of them, and we need more of them by a large stretch, and they've been somewhat stagnant for a decade or more. And so I think it's incumbent on all of us to keep pressuring and asking for resources like what was proposed in Build Back Better, so that we can exponentially increase the amount of investment we're making into the existing housing stock to make sure things like smoke detectors that are in older buildings where they may not be hardwired or may not be properly functioning are made safe for all the residents who live there. Commissioner, carry on.
Congressman, we may have another round of questioning. So,
Thank you. I appreciate those answers, and I yield back.